Welcome to Edge of the Rabbit Hole. Really appreciate everybody being out here tonight. I'm author and ghost historian Mike Ricksecker. We do not have our co-hostess Vanessa Hogle with us this evening. She is at an art show in Chicago. Really excited for her. Hope she knocks it out of the ballpark. So in the interim, we have Chuck Banks with us. He has filled in for Vanessa before. And always a pleasure to have Chuck Banks on the show. With us tonight are the Southern Gypsies, and you're kind of noticing there's no moving pictures here. Well, and we got started late, and then you can thank Skype for that again. So because of the update that we had a couple weeks ago, the thought that all the problems had gotten knocked out, well, all of a sudden that same problem reared its ugly head again today and was not able to get it fixed this time. And so here we are. I got a picture of the Southern Gypsies up there and a picture of Chuck Banks, and you're going to have to kind of imagine them moving around. So, but they're still on the line. Everybody's still on the line, and we're happy that everybody was able to join us. So, without further ado, and I think Chuck is going to step in here in just a moment. We're going to go ahead and get into it. So, it's Southern Gypsies. I wanted to go like around the table, so to speak, and have each of you introduce yourselves. So we'll kind of still try to do that. If you would, please go ahead and do so.
Sure. First of all, thanks for having us on here, Mike.
Oh, absolutely. Just an absolute pleasure to have you all.
Oh, we're excited.
We always have a lot of fun together.
Absolutely, we do, on the side of the road, near cornfields in Iowa, and Demon Holler, and anywhere we go.
Yeah, Demon Holler.
All right. So is Misty with us?
I don't know. I know she's supposed to be joining us. So we have Holly, Misty, Rhonda. Is it the three of you tonight?
It is the three of us tonight. Ashley's actually at work. She works a night shift job, and Kelly's unavailable tonight as well. And then we'll just cover them because I know also Nikita, which is Rhonda's daughter, is not with us. So we try to tend to go with who we got and just try to represent everybody as a whole. So Rhonda, if you want to go first and introduce yourself.
Well, sure. I'm Rhonda Caudell. I am a tea leaf reader. And an author, publisher, and a Southern Gypsy. I don't know what all you want to know about me. That's about it. That's about it. That's about all there is to me.
All right. Go ahead, Holly.
All right. Well, I am intuitive healer Holly Mullins. I am also a Southern Gypsy. We have a big story about how we come together. We'll share that later. But I do intuitive healings. I do psychic mediumship work. And I travel the country with these ladies on our adventures.
Yeah, all those adventures out into the middle of nowhere sometimes.
In the cornfields where there's storms all around us.
That's right. Those roads to nowhere, yeah. And I guess
all roads to nowhere, Iowa. Yes, all roads to nowhere lead to Iowa. Just got to throw that out there.
Well, yeah, we discovered that when we were out there a few weeks ago. We had a couple of dirt roads, and Google was taking us down those dirt roads, and we just we kind of coordinate there because we were headed back out, and Southern Gypsies were headed in, and just at a gas station in the middle of the night, in the middle of nowhere, and there we were.
Yeah, we were. And you know what? It's so nice, too, because we don't get to see Mike very often, and I didn't get to see Chuck while I was out there either, by the way. But anyway, we don't get to see each other very often. So just so happened we got to see you 2 weekends in a row because we got to see you at Fairy Plantation that following weekend.
Yeah, that was, and I didn't know that you guys were going to be there. I guess I didn't look well enough at the lineup for that. Of course, I was running around all over the place for several weeks in a row. But that was a real treat getting to see you a couple weeks in a row like that.
I know. I know. I love it. It's really nice. And we got to eat and all that. But Misty will be here in a little bit, guys. Just letting everybody know, because she actually brought her phone out and left her charger. So she'll be here with us. So you're going to hear about her and Ashley, which are the Connor sisters that are part of the gang. And then there's Kelly. She kind of wrangles the Southern Gypsies together. And Rhonda, do you want to tell about Nikita?
Sure. Nikita is my daughter. She's 21. She is a medium, and she does psychometry readings. Right now she is in college finishing up her bachelor's, and she's going into vet school next fall. So she won't be doing as much traveling with us over the next few years because, well, education has to come first.
Absolutely. And you know what? I couldn't agree more, because I'm a teacher. And I do have to throw out there that I am extremely jealous, Mike, because you got to hug these hot Southern.
Yeah. Shauna and I were giving them all kinds of hugs, and that was the first time they ever got to meet Shauna, which was fantastic. Shauna just loves them to death. So
we love Shauna.
Oh yeah, Shauna's amazing. We have a $10 super chat here from Conversation. She says, "I'm sorry, Charles, my energy knocks out live feeds, except your Facebook Live. Trying to control it. I guess they're having some buffering issues down there in the live chat. So, but it's going strong. They're down there. So I appreciate everybody being there and hanging in. No idea. I blame Skype. I just blame Skype all around tonight."
Well, we have to blame something, but I do have to throw this out there now. Shauna has amazing energy, much like you, Mike, and I'm gonna, kiss your butt a little bit, because I think you're an extremely handsome fellow, and I have to throw that out there, and I love you guys.
I think Chuck has the hots for me, honestly.
I do. But in all fairness, Holly has that same energy, and when you get around that energy and it all bubbles up together, it's just truly amazing. It's I can't even explain it.
Oh, Chuck, you're so sweet.
Chuck's a great guy. We love Chuck.
Yeah, and you know what? It's amazing being around a group of people where they have the same energy. And, there's something about the Southern Gypsies that we found. I mean, we all were on separate paths and got, we all came together, and it was just a beautiful thing. And we all got bonded. And for me, it's all about energy. And I know for Ron, all of us, it's all about energy. And if you can connect with someone on a soul level and get along, and we're all females, and we all know females can just be, very ego driven and very judgmental, but we are so like sisters, it's not even funny. We even make fun of each other. Misty knows my secrets before I even tell anybody. So that's great.
That's what I was going to say, Holly. We're like sisters. It was magical when we all came together, because I know when I met the girls and Holly, it was just an instant bond. And then my daughter, she came in a little later and met them, and she's like, "Mom, I love those women." And so it was a magical thing, and it stayed like that. We pick at each other and stuff, but we are sisters, soul sisters. So I don't think anything's ever going to break that bond. We're like family.
Now, I do have to interject just a little bit. Now, Holly, I know your hands, they get extremely hot when you're doing energy work. Is there a bond within the Southern Gypsies where you all have that, that high end or the hot hands?
Rhonda is actually a Reiki master, so she's a healer as well. And she actually teaches Reiki and has taught Reiki to the rest of the girls, Misty and Ashley. So they do have some type of connection. Misty's hands does heat up, and mine and Rhonda's. I don't think that Ashley or Kelly's do. Do they, Rhonda?
I don't know about Ashley and Kelly. My hands actually get cool. Everybody says that I have a cool touch or a cool energy, because we don't actually touch people when we're doing healing sessions. But everybody says my hands feel hot to me, but they say that when my energy, when I have my hands above them, that it feels cool.
Mm.
But I don't know about Ashley's or Kelly's. I don't know.
Yeah, I know Missy's does, because whenever we're doing a seance and we're all connected.
Oh, God, yeah, it's like everybody's hands are on fire.
Yeah, it gets crazy. And, you know, when we're working together, especially doing gallery readings and things like that, you can, the energy just links up with us. And you don't have that very often with such a large group of not just women, but individuals all together working together.
Gallery, we had a gallery reading back over the summer. We had like 30 people, and all 6 of us were reading, and every person in the room got a message. We all worked together. We were all picking up on same people. Some were picking up on different people, but everyone there got messages. It was really great.
Now, you know, and Mike, if you have a question, you can tell me to shut up, buddy.
No, go for it. I'm trying to see if there's like anything on the technical side that I can take care of with their buffering down there.
Okay.
So go for it, Chuck.
You know, dude, I just blame Midwest internet, you know, when it comes to that stuff. But you know, this seance thing, you know, you have me intrigued here. Now, how does it work? You know, when all of you are together, and it's got to be kind of out of this world, you know, of that type of concept.
Go ahead, Rhonda. Get it.
Well, we do a seance, and usually, you know, people will say, "Ooh, what kind of spirits did you get in the house?" None. We get spirits that come with people. We do. We get a lot of messages. It almost turns into a gallery reading, really. But there's a lot of energy in the room, in the house. We have stuff happening all over the house when we do a seance. And we have non-believers come in who leave believing. So it's a cool experience. You want to add to it, Holly Molly?
Sure, darling. So with the seances, I think it's a little bit different than your typical what you hear of seance, what it should be. We're really old school. We don't do any kind of audio recording, which we have had groups come in that kind of monitor us and trying to gather evidence from what we're doing. What we do is, if you're looking at the table, that's our table. That's our seance room right there. We have our candles out. We're just connecting with our energies together and just putting our feelers out for more. As a typical or seance would be, there would be one medium at the head of the table that would just talk. For us, we don't. We actually allow people to chime in to what they're feeling. I think this is a better way to do seances, to be honestly, because you're letting people actually experience and getting validation, because they are spirits at the house that are our regulars and we're very aware of and we know the history of through seances. So it's amazing to watch these people have these experiences. And Rhonda actually just added the spiritual trumpet to the seances and a Tesla coil.
Oh, interesting. How does that work with the Tesla coil?
The Tesla coil adds more energy into the room for spirits to feed on. So it helps them gain more energy. And then the psychic trumpet, it works as an amplifier. If there's any disembodied voices that want to come through, it amplifies the sound to make it easier for us to hear. And these are all things that were used back during the spiritualist movement. We also have incorporated bells. We use candles. We use, after the seance, we use tipping table, Ouija boards, scrying mirrors, dowsing rods and pendulums. We use all the old school things instead of, we've kind of veered away from newer technology. We'll occasionally do EVPs or camera, photos, but that's pretty much all we use.
Yeah, Rhonda, I noticed that you read tea leaves. Now, how does that work? Because I know like Shauna made a comment down in the chat about, that was a new one on her. I mean, I've heard of reading tea leaves before, but you don't really hear of people today doing that sort of thing.
Right. This is I learned table tipping and tea leaf reading from my grandmother. She just did it kind of on the side. I don't know if it was handed down to her really, or if she just kind of picked it up. But the tea leaf, it was also something in the 1900s. You could go into a tea house and have lunch, and then if you wanted, a psychic would read your tea after you're done. Tea leaves. What you do is you have loose tea in the bottom of the cup. You obviously fill it with hot water, mix it up like tea. You sip it slowly with a question in mind. And then when you're finished, you swirl the tea leaves up on the sides of the cup and turn it upside down. We give it just a few seconds to drain, and I turn it back up and read the symbols. There's certain symbols that come up in the tea leaves. But it's, for me, that's my go-to tool. That's how I get a lot of specific readings with the tea leaves, more so than just if I'm trying to intuitively read someone.
Okay, interesting.
And Mike, that all these old-fashioned ways to connect to spirit. I mean, there's a lot of folks out there that are a little bit nervous of that. And as we get closer to Halloween and the ghouls and all that sort of stuff, I want to talk about this table tipping thing because I'm extremely interested. I've never experienced it. I mean, does the table actually move? I mean, what happens during a table tipping session?
It does. You will lay your hands lightly on it. If you've ever used a Ouija board, you lay your hands lightly on the planchette and it will move. You lay your hands lightly on the table and ask questions. You'll tell it tap once or rock once for yes and twice for no or something. You make up the rules and tell it how to follow. So, but with it typically will rock back and forth for people, but with Holly and I, it's a whole different story. The first time we used it together, it went in circles and went all over the room with us. And it does it every time. Holly and I can put our hands on it and that table instantly starts. I mean, it just goes ballistic. It's amazing. I guess it's the energy, the healer energy or something. What do you think, Holly? What do you think causes it? I don't know.
I think that because when you have two highly energetic people together, it just has that much more energy for a spirit to interact with us. And yes, we end up running circles. And I just want to tell you guys, I think Misty's here with us.
You here, Misty?
Yeah, yes.
Awesome.
At my local truck stop trying to support y'all guys.
Oh, that's awesome. Just to let you know, Misty, we don't have any of the video feed going from you guys because there's Skype issues. So we're dealing with some technical stuff here.
Honey, I'm completely okay with that because I did not paint the barn, so we are fine.
Paint the barn. I like
Paint
that.
the barn. I like that one. That's really good. So I'm also interested in. I mean, it's a lot of things we can cover with you guys. Holly, last time that we were together, and even before when we met up with Shauna and everything. You were talking about and because you're young, people get confused with the term, the granny healing that you do. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely, and it does. And Misty makes fun of me because they're like, "Why you want to be known as a granny woman, Holly?
Right.
You ain't known." Well, in the Appalachian Mountains and surrounding, there are stories of granny women. These women were the healers of the community. Rhonda is actually, it's through her bloodline as well, generational, that her grandmother and great-grandmother was also granny women. These women were herbalists of the community. They were more of the white witch type, I guess you could say, the healers. So they would provide help to women that were pregnant. Of course, I don't birth babies. I don't do that. So,
okay. Do you want to birth babies at some point?
No.
Okay, you're gonna stay away from that. All right.
I'm not a gynecologist. I don't want to be. Just putting that out there.
She'll take a look at it.
I'll look at it, but that's as far as I go. Nope. But no, these women were actually descendants from Europe and other countries when we came to this land. And we exchanged different kinds of healing properties with the natives. And that became mountain magic. And that's where the term mountain magic comes from, because when we come into the mountains as healers, we brought our own methods of healing and different methods of scrying and different ways, our old ways, to here, to America. So when we settled into the mountains again and meshed with the Native Americans, we kind of traded things, and this is the Granny Women. And, you know, with Granny Women, there is also the male versions. I don't think they would call themselves Granny Men, but it's, I mean, a lot of people will talk about their grandparents and people they know that can actually blow in babies' mouths and cure the thrush and stuff like that. And I actually mentioned it today. I think it's funny how people don't think of that as being some type of ability. They just think it's normal because that's what we're used to around here. So I think it was really cool for people to hear people talk about that, because I do know people that will blow in babies' mouths to cure thrush and sore throat and things like that. But yeah, that's pretty much the Granny Women. They're herbalists and women who knew their way around magic.
Nice, nice. Hey, we do have a question from the chat. And the chat's a little bit behind because of all the technical issues. So, and people are saying that there was problems with Facebook Live earlier today too, and maybe it's an internet thing. I know there's a lot of storms going on also in the area. We may actually get hit with one here pretty soon. But this is from Mickey Dole. She asked, does the Tesla coil work like a plasma ball?
Yeah, it's kind of like that. I guess the plasma ball is where you put your fingers on the outside. Yeah. But you don't actually. I guess when you put your hands on the plasma ball, that generates static or whatever. But the Tesla coil is open, so ask Ashley. You don't want to touch it. She melted an acrylic nail on it.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. And this one is from Fran Molino. She asks, is there any particular style that you use that has caused more trouble than help?
No, I don't think we've run across that at all. I think everything's about intent, Fran. When you are in this field as working psychically, you know your boundaries. If you know what you're doing, you know how to handle things like that. So we've never come across that. We have been put into scenarios where we've come across that, though.
Yeah, I think as long as you go into anything, if with a positive, we never go in with negative attitude or negative emotions or any type of negative intent at all. We always go in positive and try to make sure that anybody that's attending an event we're having is positive. Because we don't, I mean, as long as everything's positive, you don't have to worry about anything negative or bad or anything like that, having to deal with anything like that.
I think that one time, well, we've been in situations where people have came to the house and they have just assumed certain things, and because I think all of us are so in tune with the house, we could tell that the methods they were used to using the house didn't agree with, and we would very quickly be like, this is not good, you need to stop, or you need to do this. And they ended up, I guess, being more of a believer when they left, because I do remember the guy, he said very openly, he was like, I was going to do such and such, but after realizing the activity and these things that were going on, I decided against it. And I'm like, the house, I feel, sometimes tells on these people, and it's kind of funny. If you listen, they'll, you'll get these messages, and you'll find out that these people who come, most everybody, like 99%, is really, really great. But that 1% that doesn't understand that bringing something else or the negativity, the house doesn't like it just as much as we. Don't y'all ladies agree?
I do, because I think the house, because we're protective of the house is in turn protective of us. And yeah, it lets us know, I think, when things aren't on the up and up.
Yes. And that's funny that it busts people out.
Yeah.
You know, it makes me wonder, Mike, if I was to walk into that house, what would that house say about me?
Oh,
yeah.
It would say, no.
What would it say?
It would say, I got that for you. I got that good for you.
Oh, God. Hit it, Ollie.
it would say that Chuck, that perverted man.
My goodness.
No,
Chuck.
Well, hey Chuck, they were saying
Yeah,
down
I
in
mean-
chat that we got a bromance going on. So
Well, you know what? That's okay. You know what? I have I just have a lot of respect for you, buddy, and lots of love, and that's just who I am. You know, I'm a ball of love.
you are.
Aw.
Yeah, he
It's
sure
amazing.
is. A lot to love.
No, the house, as long as you have good, these people didn't come with really bad intentions, but the house is very, they're very protective. It's almost like the house is also protective. Rhonda, you'll know better than this because Rhonda owns it, but I feel that the house is almost protective of their spirits too. So if somebody comes with the intent to, like even certain tones that the people, like the beating of drums, things like that, it gets very offended on certain ones. And it's just kind of, as long as you have good intents and stuff like that, the house sees that and stuff. I know this is crazy. We're talking about the house like it's a person, but it almost is like part
It
of
has
the
its own
damn
personality,
family, you know?
sure.
Yeah.
So Betty Lange down in chat is wondering when all of you got started, like what age?
Oh, many moons ago. Holly, go on and hit it.
Well, you know what? I want to give, real quick, if you guys don't care, I want to give Missy the
for
chance
it.
to introduce her and Ashley real quick.
Oh yeah, Misty
yeah.
Misty jumped in but never got a chance to introduce herself. So go for it. Yeah.
Okay. Me and Ashley are we've been in the paranormal, it seems like forever. We started out as SOS, which that's when we first met Mike, because we were like, you're the male version. But we were Sisters of Salem, and then it went to the paranormal party, and then we got to the more everybody knows, the more you're in the paranormal, the more you're opened up, and we have been in the like Holly said, people take for granted these things that people find extraordinary and unusual. Us in the mountains, or how we've been raised, it was just normal. So me and Ashley come up with a lot of these things that, you know, Holly and Rhonda and stuff like that, their upbringing was kind of the same. So we were coming up thinking these things were just normal. And then when we tell people, and they'd be like, no. They were like, no, this isn't normal. So we always had that background, and not until a lady said, look, y'all are natural. Let's just say naturalists of this. Let's just put it that way. So then our tool of trade is that we wanted the tarot cards. Now, Ashley is scrying. She does use her crystal balls and stuff like that. Tarot is definitely a tool of mine, but divination I find is a little bit different. Sometimes when I bring out the ruins, even though I'm just learning them, we always try to stay abreast of anything new so that we can further our gift. And sometimes when you take away your tool of trade, you have to use that extra gift. So that's what we do in the group.
Very cool. Very cool. I have a question to throw out there. It's kind of based off of a question that was asked and answered in chat. But being a Southern Gypsy, so how is that different from being a Gypsy from other parts of the world, say like a Romanian Gypsy or something like that?
Oh my God, that's a beautiful question. I don't want to take the floor, ladies. You want to
Let her rip, Misty. You got this.
Okay, well, I'm going to put this very plainly to you. The best part, we went to the Axe Murder House, and I'm not going to say it because Holly makes fun of me. I don't say it right. But
It's Valenska.
Liska.
and when we went there, it was so funny because these people, we got our tickets paid in and everything. These people were like, who are y'all? And I remember I went over to get this lady to take a picture of us, and this guy was like, you are everything that is Southern when you did that right there. And it is that we are a very proud, beautiful, and very charismatic, but also we are very respectful, and we have a way of, when you're Southern, we could pretty much tell you off and then God bless you at the end, and you would never know. And that is the embodiment of us. We always make sure we have that Gentile in there with being the psychics of the South. Now, from other areas, I can't tell you exactly how they do things because I'm not one of them, but I know that we always try to keep our head up. We try to be respectful, and we always try to do the best we can. Now, I'm not saying that other, like Romney and we are, our Rhonda and us are also descendants from Irish gypsy travelers. So I know that there are certain characteristics that we have of that, but we're paving new ground here, Mike. We're trying to be the best we can in the South and represent the best we can.
Fantastic.
And I think that's extremely important. But I will say that there is something about the Southern draw, Mike, that I have to throw out there. Now, there's a lot of people that say, hey, Chuck lives in the sticks in Southern Iowa, and I have that that draw as well. But I'll just leave that at that.
Honey, you could always be part of the South. We're never going to turn you away. It's funny. Somebody also said, who said that we were the dirty South? We're hotter down here.
Little bit.
Mike, you have this show marked as explicit.
Absolutely. All of our shows are explicit. Remember,
Lord have mercy. Thank you.
Hey, remember, we have Vanessa as our usual co-host, and every other word is an F-bomb out of her, so you know.
Well, let her rip, girls. We can be ourselves now. Let's go.
So we have a $10 Australian super chat from Robert White. He says, healers from around the world unite and storms go away. Thank you very much, Robert. Appreciate that. So there was another question in here from Betty Lange. And Carrie Parrish is kind of asking the same thing. So we're all about, to give the viewers a little bit of a geographic idea, we're all about in the South. Where are you from?
Well, we are kind of like divided a little bit, but I start right in the ass end of Virginia in the Appalachian Mountains, and then we'll go out to Rhonda, who is right there.
The border.
Yep, she's right at the Tennessee border. Yeah, and then we've got the girls. Where y'all from?
We are from up in Salem, Virginia, right near Roanoke. So, but we're in the sticks too, though. We're at the foot of Christiansburg Mountain, near Blacksburg, is where most people.
Nice. Now, Mike, I do have to ask you, what was that trip like? You did that event here a few weeks back with the Southern Gypsies. I mean, what was that like?
Well, we didn't get a chance to actually investigate or actually work the event with the Southern Gypsies. We met in passing. So Shauna and I went out there Friday night. The Gypsies were like super early Saturday morning. What time we meet up at? Like 2 a.m. or something like that? Yeah.
It was epic.
So Chuck, the event itself was interesting. There was something that we were kind of chasing around within that school that actually had more to do with Shauna than it had anything to do with the school. So.
Hey, we got to hang out on Virginia Beach, though. Don't forget.
And then the following week, we got to hang out in Virginia Beach with the Southern Gypsies. The Fairy Plantation is amazing. So if you ever get out there to Virginia Beach, you do have to check that out.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I do have to throw this out there because I'm curious. What is the most haunted or active location around you gals down in the South?
Oh man.
Are you talking about, like, of course we're going to say the Nickerson Sneed because that's our home. But
I need to get out there. I have not yet been there.
God, you do, Mike.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. But if you're taking that off the table, because that would be our go-to. Rhonda knows that too. I mean, we all know that. So we're going to take that off the table. Out near our area, I guess the most famous would have to be St. Albans. But I'm gonna go old school with y'all. I don't know if y'all have ever watched Ghost Hunters. I know that everybody has, but it's like the Moonshine episode. There was Major Graham's mansion. I got to tell y'all something, guys. I started off investigating there, and that was when we were strictly as scientific as you can get. No feelers out, no nothing, no psychics, no nothing. This was many years ago, and that's how we were brought into the picture. That place is phenomenal. That place is awesome. They use it for haunted house and stuff now, and I don't know how many groups get to go in, but I came up in a group that was their home place. So I guess that'll always be close to me. What do y'all think, Holly, Rhonda?
Well, I've been in the paranormal field for about 12 years now, and I actually started as a paranormal investigator. And I've been to quite a few different places, and you kind of get the feel and energy for it. And I see a lot of people in chat talking about the house. That's the Nickerson Sneed house. It's our home. It's funny because it is our home. When we talk about going to home for the weekends, that's where we're going. But I would have to agree with Misty. St. Albans is an awesome location for me personally. At one time, it was my home away from home. I spent a lot of time down there with the girls, and we would have events there. And it's a really cool location, really cool people, and I don't know. I think everybody has that one certain place they connect to. And mine at this point in my life would be the Nickerson Sneed as my home. But where we're travelers, we live the gypsy life of traveling and hustling and doing what we can to keep our heads above water. We have been really blessed to be able to visit some of these other locations as well. But again, I think it goes back to what calls to you, the place that calls you back. And St. Albans is one of those places for me.
Nice. Now, Mike, what place calls out to you?
Fairy Plantation.
Fairy Plantation is definitely one. I've had a number of interesting experiences there. I've had things happen to me there that just haven't happened at other locations. That kind of brings out more of my spiritual side, for lack of a better term. Because I never claimed to be anything, but I was definitely being something there. So that's one. Stone Lion Inn in Guthrie, Oklahoma. The Goldenrod Showboat, which is now unfortunately gone. Mineral Springs does now, though. So what about you, Chuck?
Well, I have to throw out, the haunted basement.
Your haunted basement?
Yeah. I have to throw that out there. But, truth be told, if you ever get a chance to check out, the Hinsdale House, the Malvern Manor, Edinburgh Manor, those are three hot spots that I have to throw out there that, it makes my hands buzz. And, my hands don't get hot. They buzz, anytime that I'm around that sort of energy. But I'm excited to perhaps come down and check out, the Southern Gypsies home, man. I'm pretty interested in that.
Yeah, I'd love to check it out too, for sure. Now, let me ask you ladies something. So, and Rhonda, I don't know if you said anything about how, if you had gotten started with paranormal investigating, but I know Misty and Holly did. And we talked about it a little bit when we met up a couple weeks ago. The difference now and the path that you've taken and before, where you were kind of using more of the devices and things like that. So how has your opinion kind of changed over the years on using those devices in now today, where you're using more of yourself and your body as your main tool?
Well, I guess I'll chime in. Are you talking about using my body as a tool? That's all I heard. I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh.
This show just veered off.
Wow.
Holly.
Yeah, Holly, how do you use your body as a tool? I mean, all right, let me step back a little bit. Okay, so no, what I was talking about was how how your passive kind of changed over the years. You're paranormal investigators before. You've become, I guess, more spiritual in nature. You're using kind of more of the devices and all that stuff before. I know we talked about it a couple of weeks ago when we were hanging out together. Right. So, how has that evolution been for you, where now you do take the opinion of more, your body is your main tool as opposed to all the different devices?
Absolutely. That is a great question. At one time, starting out in the paranormal field, just to backtrack, I think we all had experiences when we were younger. So it ain't like, I think the paranormal was our path, and I think a lot of people account for that because it's almost like that's their crack in the wall. That's their way of learning, and it's spirit's way of guiding them on their path. But screw scientific stuff, and I'm sorry for anybody that's very scientific out there, because I was the type of person, and I still am, I'm very level-headed, so I always try to debunk things. The ghost box, I'm sorry for the lovers out there, I can't stand it. I try to work with that thing. Even when I work with dowsing rods, they don't work with me. I don't know what happens. They don't like my energy or something. It's just too much. But it's nice to go into a location and not have to carry all this stuff, put a voice recorder in your boobs, and having all this stuff to carry. No, but besides that, on a serious note, validation of your intuition. I think it's a beautiful thing when you can walk into a location and not have any history, which is what we all prefer, and be able to pick up on information about that location without any piece of evidence talking to us, without an audio recorder. We don't need it so much because we don't need that validation that way anymore.
And I like that because I've known you quite a while, Holly. But any time that you went to help folks in need, it's always best, not to know anything going in, and I think that's extremely important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
well, we do that with our readings too. When a client sits down, they'll start to tell us something, and we'll say, "No, keep your question to yourself. Let us answer it, and you tell us, how we're correct or if we're way off." So that's great for us too, validation that way. But we always go in not wanting to know anything, and to for spirit to give us the message or give us the information.
Now. I don't mean to interject here, but how many times have the clients thought that you were way off, and then they come back and they're like, "Hey, you know what? I do remember that this happened, and that you were right on."
Oh Lord. Well, I have a lot of times when people sit down with us, they actually they'll deny a lot, and this is the hardest thing that people don't understand is someone who's reading for you. We're trying to make that connection, and if you're really, really hard to read for, it almost feels like, to me, like a garage door is coming down. I can't fully link with you, and I'm still going to give you the best reading that I can, and they'll fib. They'll say no, and then I've had friends come back and say, they were lying to you. What you were saying is 100% true, but they didn't want to.
Misty, you should tell them what type of readings you typically get.
Listen, I can
finish people on things they shouldn't be doing. That's why they deny it.
If you got a fetish, don't go around Misty. She'll point you out without having
I'm telling you, yes, and I will, and I'm very persistent, because you don't understand, in my head, whatever my spirit guide or whoever's telling me about this is continuous, and it's just like continuous, and I will get them, and I'll be like, "Listen, you're going to tell me about this finger, okay? I don't know what's happening." I have had people confess numerous things to me, and I'm like, "Okay, now we're okay," and it'll leave me then. But I'm telling you what, I'm not saying it happens all the time, because I know there's some freaks out there I don't get, but some of them, I'm just telling you, I have busted out some stuff that I don't want to know about. I don't, but it's continuous. I don't know why.
Mike, I'm not going to ask her for a reading online.
You probably don't. No. You probably don't. Nope.
Yeah, but seriously.
Otherwise, she'll know every freaky thing about you, Chuck.
Oh, that would not be good, yeah.
No, but yeah, that does. Okay, so I do kind of leave sometimes, and I must have a freak that is my spirit guide. I'm 100% sure one of them likes to get down in the dirty, and they always want to tell me what everybody else likes to get down in the dirty about.
Right.
Mike, I am blushing bright red.
I see that.
So you can see why they deny my ratings, okay? I don't know about the ladies, so y'all can go with the ladies, but that's why they deny my.
Listen, I Misty, I was telling people in chat about my past life regression reading, but before that I said, now if anyone in this chat happens to play the flute and they're native, I dig it, man. I dig it. So you got to tell them the story.
That's because, let me tell you something. First of all, I think Holly, if I was a man, would jump me in a minute. I'm pretty sure. Like, it's I look like I got black hair, I'm a little tan, and I got this tattoo. And she looked at it, and she was like, that's kind of native, right? I'm like, back off, Holly. God. But Holly has her own room when we do readings of the Nickerson's Need. And it's funny because I told Rhonda, like when Holly did the witches runes, I was like, hot damn, she gets coming here with us, Rhonda. Because in our room, it's just like a bevy of energy. People are just like all over the place and, this, that, and other. But Holly has this secluded cave with Indian music and she's rubbing on them with these stones. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing with them back there? I don't know. So I always make fun of her. And I'm like, God darn, Holly. So when I hear that Indian music coming, and then if she tells you she wants to touch your third eye, you're done, buddy.
I'll keep my third eye to myself, thank you.
You better hide it. Put a Post-it over it.
Let's tuck that away.
She loves her natives. I'm just saying.
Cool. So Shauna has a question in here. This is from her. She says, do they each have a good luck charm that never fails?
A good luck charm that never fails.
Never fails.
I got to tell you something. I draw from the ladies. Like, when we're around each other, I got to explain this to you. Like, if you ever see us at cons or something, people will come to us and be like, gosh, y'all look really pretty or whatever. And I attribute that to us to being together. I'm not joking about that. Like, there is an energy that goes through us and it brightens us, Yeah. So that's what I attribute.
I agree with Misty on that. It's funny because you either take us for what we are and you're gonna love us, or you're just not gonna like us because our energy offends you. Because I seen somebody's comment earlier at Scarefest. You could hear us laughing and cutting up, and that's how we are with all of our events that we go to and attend. Because everybody knows that laughter kind of raises the vibration and just makes everything just very much happy, and them good vibes come out in us. As far as personally, I think that each one of us has different things that we cling to. We're all different in our aspects of spirituality. I'm spiritual. I don't do religion. So, I don't know. I love my crystals and my tree of life.
I have to agree. Our energy, I think, is our biggest luck charm, good luck charm. It's just the energy, the positive energy with all of us. When we get together, it's just amazing. It's like a star exploding or something, the energy off of it. But I have a moonstone ring that I wear constantly. It never leaves my finger.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Yeah, and I agree with you with the what you guys are saying about the energy. I know that because you guys hadn't met Shauna before, and so when I was trying to explain who you guys were before you met her, I was just telling her, they have a lot of energy, a lot of great energy, and so and she got to experience that there out in the middle of nowhere, and yeah, so she fell in love with your energy immediately. So.
Oh, we love her. She said in chat earlier that she knows that that she is just one of our soul sisters.
Yeah.
reincarnation, and I think that's wonderful. And you know, this is something that we strive for. Like, we want people to stand beside us. We don't like for people to stand in front of us or behind us or anyone to be intimidated by us, because we are women. We are real. This is who we are. We embrace our paths, our powers, and our sexuality, our womanhood, and you know, and everybody should be
dog
able
agrees
to.
with that, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sexuality, woof woof. Yeah, I got it right in there.
Oh, jeez. I'm already a dog. Come on.
But anyway, it's a beautiful thing when women can unite. And we have, since we've been together almost a year, by the way. We've known each other each a little bit longer, but it's not felt like a year, because I tell you what, we've been traveling our asses off, and we've been having so many things going on. For a good portion of the year, we done a lot of things at the Knickers and Sneed, and now it's like travel time, and we've already got stuff booked for next year, and we're excited for it, and we're excited to meet everybody. Like, we just love it. We can just wrap people up. I mean, sometimes we run into the weirdest situations, and we have stories for our lifetime, and we share them with people. You know, it's wonderful, Mike. It's wonderful.
It is. I gotta look. I'm serious. Weird weekends. Love that guy to death, but he picked me up eating a hot dog at
Over the trash can, Misty. Don't forget that part.
Yeah, I was at the trash can, and he was like, "Hey, you're the Southern Gypsies," and I'm like, "Well, what gave that away? The trash can, the weenie?" That's how people. This is how people are approaching us, Mike, and I'm like, "This is awesome. These are awesome." By the way, your lady, she has a kindred soul. We knew that automatically.
Yeah.
And just, I mean, she's a great lady. She really is. So we love her to death. You know that. And she didn't even get the full effect, Mike. That is traveling for 15 hours, meeting in the middle of the night at a gas station, like at a crossroads, wind blowing, lightning in the back. It was cool as crap. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, the lightning was all over the place. It was crazy. But yeah, you're right. She did not get the full Southern Gypsy effect. So, so we'll just have to make sure that you guys all get together again here. So, well, you will be at least at the Haunted Road Media Paracon.
Ooh.
Yay!
Yes, we are. We're so excited about that. Yeehaw!
Yep, I finally did get an official date, June 1.
Oh, cool. Oh, awesome.
Listen, somebody needs to write that on our calendar that we don't have, but we do have. And then we, you know, this is how we do, guys. I'm serious. Like, we have been really blessed. I do want to mention this guy right here, because he's been awesome to us, and he's been trying to help us out too. It's Bill Reap and his wife. As well. It's Reap Investigations, and they've been actually representing the Southern Gypsies and helping book us for events and helping us to be like, ladies, you want to do this? And we're like, fuck yeah, put us down, because we have a hard time saying no. Sometimes we think to ourselves, what date was that? Because we write it down, and what happens, we don't know what happened to that paper that we wrote it on. And we're all like, oh shit. So yeah, but it's not a bad thing. It's a wonderful thing. We're excited, and I don't know. It's just great when you can do what you love, and you can help people, and you can touch people, and it's amazing.
Yeah. And Rhonda right now, I don't know if you mentioned this, Rhonda, because I got in here late, but the reason why we're traveling now is because Rhonda is got her haunt going on, man. She turns the Knickers and Sneed into a haunted house. A lot of places do that because they can fund them to keep these locations open for groups and stuff. And I really think that's great. So Rhonda's doing that right now. So then we were like, okay, so if we, like, for example, tonight, there's only 3 of us on here, but the other ones are either working or doing things like that. So we always try to at least represent by 2 or 3 of us showing up at an event, because, you know, life gets crazy sometimes, but we want to make sure we reach out and do as much as we can, you know?
Oh, absolutely. I know how that goes. I'm always driving around all over the place, but yeah, I usually see that you guys at least have a few people there, which is great. Even if it's not all of you, at least you guys are represented, which is amazing. So we have a couple more questions down here in chat. We can take them here real quick before we wrap up.
No!
I know. The hour goes by quick, and we got a late jump, too, because of all the technical craziness. From X Group Home Kid, do you find people tend to be more haunted than places?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, that's a good way to think about it, I think. What do you guys think?
I wouldn't say haunted, but there's definitely a lot of spirits that come in with certain people. Spirits are kind of drawn to them. And then they have, it may be just random spirits that they've picked up somewhere if they've got that little light shining, and they're at least a little bit sensitive. And but then people also have their loved ones that are still kind of hanging around trying to get a message. But definitely there's some people that have a lot of people or spirits still hanging around them. I don't know though, the Nickerson Sneed house does have a lot of spirits hanging around there because it's just constantly active. What do you girls think?
I think that, well, I think people get scared of this shit. I ain't gonna lie. If we sit here and say, oh man, y'all got this person attached to you, they're all automatically like, I have an attachment, it's horrible. No, it could be your grandma who just wants to talk to you. She's attached to you for a reason. These are the terms that could be used. People automatically want to think all those are bad, and they're not. A lot of times we can tell when you sit down to read with us, or like, Holly, when she does her healings, is because, well, for me, I get automatically a pain. Like if they're really strong, my head is like booming, and I'll be like, okay, this one's really strong with you, because they're trying to convey something. And normally when we can talk to them and try to give them a heads up on what's going on, it literally, they'll back off. So I think it's like 50-50. I think that you have travelers that come with you. People don't understand. Then you got spirit guides, and I think that what people get scared of is they see themselves standing there, but they don't see all those others standing behind them. And the unknown of that scares them, but they shouldn't be scared. That's your ancestors. That's your guides. That's the people who want to get messages to you. And normal people can tune that out. But if you have a little bit of a gift, or if you realize, because I believe everybody has a gift, if you realize how to access that a little bit, they're trying to talk to you. Locations, I think it's 50-50. I think locations like the Nickerson Sneed, places like that, they have their own spirits and they choose to stay there for a reason whatsoever. So I think that it's both. For me, it is,
Yeah. Well, as a person who works with kind of, I guess you could say, negative energies, I hate to hear the term thrown around a lot of, I guess you could say, if people have a negative attachments, it does happen. Don't get me wrong. I deal with it. I help people out with things like that. It don't happen quite as often as people think. And also with that negative energy, you guys got to think that if you live a lifestyle where you are on a lower vibration, then you're going to attract that negative vibration as well. So you're going to have negative energy around you. It's not so much that they're haunted. It's just that they have, they need to work out things in their life to better themselves. So, it's just how it is. And unfortunately, as humans and our soul bodies, we have a lot of people out there who needs a lot of healing, and a lot of people who needs a lot of growing spiritually to do.
I agree.
Hey, we have somebody here who wants to say hi.
Hey, honey.
Oh, let me turn up your volume. There you go.
Hi.
There you go.
Hi.
Hey, baby.
Hey, baby, I love you.
I love you.
Yeah.
Aww.
She was out in the house, taking care of the chat, shenanigating the chat, and so invited her in to. This is Shauna. For viewers that don't know, invited her in to come and say hi at the end of the show here. So I'm trying to get all these. There we go.
She moved me around there.
We love our Shauna.
We do. Rhonda, you will love her when you meet her.
I can't wait to meet her. I heard so much about you guys from the girls. I just can't wait to meet you.
She has a very kindred energy. You'll know what I mean, Rhonda.
I see that.
You know.
I saw her, and you can feel a connection. just looking at someone. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So speaking of Nickerson
and they look
Sneed,
at
go
me,
ahead.
Mike, and they're like, "I'm gonna block this guy."
Yeah. Thanks, Chuck. Speaking of Nickerson Sneed, Karen Whitaker has a question about, is Nickerson Sneed open for investigations?
it is.
Okay. Apparently she
just
wasn't
have
finding
to,
the information on the website.
Just well, the best way is just to send us a Facebook message on the Nickerson Sneed House Facebook page.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go, Karen. So let's see. This is from Betty Lange. Do they pick up on each other when not near, if one is sick or down, tuned into when not together?
God.
Oh yes, we know everything about each other.
Lord.
Rhonda kills me. Look, Rhonda took some medicine,
Yes,
okay,
she-
like allergy medicine. And I was just like, what's wrong with you? Why can't I feel you? What is wrong?
Let me tell you. Let's
Misty
talk.
thought I was mad or something. She said, "You're off. I can't get you." And I said, "I've had allergy medicine. I don't get me."
God, seriously. I link up with these ladies, and it is crazy. Holly, oh God.
Oh God. Don't get me started. I can't even. Okay, if I have a male friend in my life and I have not told anybody about it, this bitch will be like, Holly, who you talking to? Hey, Holly, I seen that coming. I'm telling you, I knew some shit was up. Let me tell you, out of all of us, we're all very well connected, but she clings on to me. She
I
like,
do it they don't understand I do it to all of them. It's like when I'm around them, I can feel them, and it's the weirdest shit, but I link up to them, and I'm like, okay, we're cool. But if one of them's off, like that day with Rhonda, I was just like, Rhonda, are you okay? Why can I not feel you right? Why can I Rhonda's like, I'm fine. I'm like, no, there's something.
Yeah.
And it was weird. It was really crazy. Ashley, I do the same thing with, because she's my sister, but it's automatic with Ashley. And you know, I've done that forever with her, but I've started doing it with them, and it's crazy. So yes. And Rhonda one day looked like she was going to kill me, because I did the same thing I do to Holly. I just popped off something, and Rhonda was like, what did you say? Ashley ducked, literally. She was like, whoa, moved over.
I was so stunned. I was processing. I was like, what did you say? How did you know that? I haven't told anybody. But yeah, it's like a deer caught in headlights. I was like, I can't believe she knows this. How did she find this out? How did she know this?
She looked evil, y'all. It was just, and it was something that, like that thing I told y'all that it keeps saying over and over. I was like, okay, fine. She was teaching us Reiki, and I literally was like, Rhonda, fine, I gotta say this to you. And she just looked like she's gonna take that book and waffle me with it. And I was just like, oh God, I'm so.
But I was stunned. I was processing. I was like, huh? What did she just say? How does she know that?
Yeah.
But, you know, it's funny though, because you know, when one of us is, because I retreat, like I'm the type of person who I will kind of, it's almost like I'm retreating back from the group, but I'm not. It's I'll do it as an energy save. It's my thing. I do it. And Misty got it. Like, some of the other girls was like, is there something wrong with Holly? Like, you know, I feel like she's kind of like pulling back a little bit. And then Misty caught on very quickly to the way that I do, and it's just who I am as a healer, that I have to pull back. And it's not so much that I'm pulling back from the group or the ladies, it's for my own self. And as working together, it's funny because we learn so much about each other spiritually as we go along too, because there's always something to learn, because we're always growing together. And so as a group going into a location, if we were to deal with a negative entity, I mean, I'm like, it's weird how it works out, because Missy, you can tell the story because I love the way you tell it, but
Which
you
one?
know,
The one
yeah.
where, what, me and Rhonda were over there, like,
Yeah.
thought you wanted the app.
yeah, I know we ain't got a lot of time, but we can like tell it. Like, we was at an event up in Pennsylvania, and there was something that went down, something that we had never witnessed as a group together before, and Rhonda and Misty were sitting on each side of this lady who kind of took over by something. And I was sitting there the whole time across the room trying to wave to them and tell them, like, if there's something wrong. And they was like, after all, Holly, we'll talk about later. Like, they thought I was talking about, like, an app on a phone or something. I don't know. But anyway, so the girl, they asked her if she was okay. The lady's beside her, and she got up. And all of a sudden, she went to her knees, and she grasped Rhonda's arm. Not grasp, like, I don't know what you want to call it, but it was pretty rough, wasn't it?
It was. Well, and the thing was, even though Holly knew before we did, when this happened, everybody else was still talking. Nobody knew what happened. But we all 5 jumped and were on the woman before anybody else knew what was happening. We all linked up, and we all 5 knew at one time, something's going on with this lady, and we all rushed to her, not knowing exactly what was happening until we were at her, and everybody's still in the room just conversing and listening to the presentation.
Wow.
And finally, they're looking over, what them damn gypsies doing? They're
Misty was throwing tables.
I did.
Misty throwing tables, yeah.
Yeah, I took my ass, took that damn table against the other wall. I was like, boom. It was crazy, and she needed attention and help, and everybody else was able to get to her. But I tell you what, it was a buzz. We've done that before too, but it's like a buzz, and we all just stood up. Like, we all went, like, our energies were linked that close.
We stood up all at once.
Yeah, it was like you couldn't even plan it, but it's like our bodies. We did that one night too, me and Holly. Oh God, I'll never forget this. I actually was listening to this stupid ass, like, oh God, what was it like? It was so deep, and I was like, wow. And me and Holly were sleeping beside each other, and Holly automatically shot up, and because I felt her energy while I was sleeping, I shot up too. So actually sitting there, all of a sudden me and Holly had a dead sleep, just sat straight up and look at her, and she was like, oh shit, like scared
I hate
shit
that
out of
damn
her,
place.
man. Yeah, so it's kind of cool because before we were put together, before we came across each other, we didn't know of each other, but when we came across each other, we knew that we were supposed to all be together. I don't know if you can.
Yeah, that instant connection.
Yeah, definitely. I know we were sisters or something in another life, some sort of that way, Yeah.
No, I absolutely understand that. One last question before we wrap it up. This is from Adam Tillery, a little off color here. But he asks, who wins? Texas barbecue, Memphis barbecue, KC barbecue, or Carolina barbecue?
Oh, Carolina, baby.
Memphis.
Memphis?
I like it.
Is Memphis more sweet?
Yeah, I like that honey flavor. I like that.
I like
do
KC.
too, but I tell you what.
I just like barbecue.
You just like barbecue?
I'm not picky.
How about you, Chuck?
Man, we like food.
You know what? Kansas City barbecue is amazing, and I have to throw this out there. I do love my creeps, and Adam Tillery is one of my creeps.
Yeah. Adam's a cool dude.